I've been playing Minecraft for a while. I actually started playing in 2011, so this year will be 15 years that I've been playing Minecraft, and in that time, I've seen loads of different changes to certain mechanics, including the way that we swing our swords, the way that we move through water, even hunger. I remember when I first started playing Minecraft, it was on the Xbox 360, and we didn't have hunger bars on that platform at that time. So I have seen a lot of changes to the game, and I have discovered quite a few mods in my time that I've really enjoyed, including Tekkit, Pixelmon, and most recently the Create mod. They've all been incredible ways to utilize the game's base mechanics while adding extra mechanics that didn't exist in the first place, where Tekkit was really focused on technology and item transport and fluid transport. Pixelmon was a play on Pokemon games, and the Create mod focuses on technology as well, but in more of a steampunky sort of setting, I'd say. And that's what I wanted this video to focus on. I wanted to compare Redstone and Create mod contraptions, how they work together, how they can differ, the different mechanics you can use for them, and which one might be more useful in certain situations if you're playing on a Create mod world. Or even if you're playing on a vanilla world, if this video inspires you to pick up the Create mod, create a world, and start building, then I would consider it job done. And one of the first things that I wanted to look at was how we use power in the different systems through Minecraft and the Create mod. So in Minecraft, we have a few different ways to power blocks. We have a redstone torch and a redstone block. They both put out 15 blocks worth of power. We have a daylight sensor, which can depend on the time of day. You can toggle it between a nighttime detector and a daytime detector, which can be incredibly useful for certain builds. You have an observer, which detects block updates happening in front of it. A lectern, which can be used to change the power based on the page of a book that you're reading using a comparator. You have a comparator, which can read the contents of a chest and change the power based on what is in it. Repeaters can extend the power of redstone, and target blocks can redirect the power of redstone using repeaters as well. And redstone can be sent up and down staircases, including being sent up slabs, which can give you some really, really tight, almost directly straight up power transfer that can be instant as long as not too many repeaters are used. Now, while redstone uses a pretty direct powering source where the power comes straight out of the power source and into the block that you're trying to power, Create uses something a little bit different. It uses rotational power. So we have examples of that with the water wheels here. The smaller water wheels spin a little bit quicker, but they provide a lot less power. Bigger water wheels provide more power, but spin more slowly. You can speed these up by connecting them together, because any contraption will spin at the speed of the fastest spinning component in Create. So if you were to pair large water wheels with a small water wheel, the large water wheels will spin slightly faster due to the small water wheel being the faster component. You can also create windmills using windmill sails and some glue and a windmill bearing. The windmill, it's not the most effective power that you can get, but it's good. It can be designed really well, and you can make it look really, really cool. And if you're just using it for some really, really light, simple power, it's a great alternative. The two main sources of power you're probably going to use in mid to late game Create will be the steam generators. There are two types of steam generators that you can see here. One of them is not quite full size, half heat, and obviously full of water. So we get that by pumping lava into blaze burners using the liquid fuel add-on, and then we get our power output through these powered shafts, which can be linked together using a belt. The second type of steam generator you will see is a max level boiler, which gives you significantly more power output because it is full size and full heat, because we are powering our blazes using blaze cakes and a mechanical arm. You can attach a lot more steam engines to this generator, and you can produce a lot more power, and chaining these together will get you significant power outputs that will more than manage pretty much anything that you need to power. Now that we know the different types of power you can get through Redstone and the Create mod, why don't we have a look at how we can use that power in different contraptions and what we can do to get those contraptions working and the different use cases we might have for each one. The first contraption to look at is a double piston extender used in a lot of typical Redstone builds, especially doors and block swappers and everything like that. You have a lot of uses for the double piston extender in Redstone. And you can see the setup here, and if we flick that on, you can see the block moves forward 2 piston lengths. And when we pull it back, it retracts back to its original space. In Create, we have something similar, but we can do it with 1 piston. And the way we do that is using a mechanical piston with multiple piston extension poles. And if we turn that on, it will extend out to the same place. And we can bring it back, and it's a lot smoother of a motion that we can get from this as opposed to the quite clunky double piston extender. Now, I think a lot of these have a lot of really good uses in their own right. I don't think one is better than the other, but there's definitely space for both of them in a lot of Minecraft builds. I think the Create double piston length extender is a little bit less useful if you're trying to do something like a specific type of contraption, but if you're just looking to move blocks a specific length, it might be a little bit more useful, but who knows? It depends which one you'd prefer to build. The footprints are a little bit different as well, but the Create one does need rotational power, which you might not have access to where you are if you're trying to hook it up to a remote base that you have, or if you just want it to be a little bit quieter and you haven't unlocked massive amounts of rotational power elsewhere. It's, you know, there's space for both of them in any Minecraft build. The next thing to look at is a super smelter. So almost every base that I've ever built has had some sort of super smelter design. You always need one for those long mining trips when you come back with an inventory full of ores and you just want to smelt them up. So we have a pretty typical sort of really basic Minecraft super smelter here using the minecart rails and hopper system into blast furnaces. And I have a double chest full of iron and a double chest full of coal at the back. And over here we have a Create super smelter. So a little bit different. It uses encased fans and lava, but likewise to the other one, full crates of raw iron and then fully empty barrels over on this side with list filters to essentially say that only iron ingots can go through here and only raw iron can come out of here to make sure that you don't get any clogs or blockages or anything. And if we turn these both on to see which might be faster, we can see that we start filling up the standard Minecraft super smelter a lot quicker. That starts going up one by one. However, over here we do get multiple full stacks smelted up a lot quicker than we would otherwise, and these will start feeding into the barrels in just a second. So it might take a little bit to get going, but once it is going, we get significantly bigger returns on our iron from a much shorter period of time. So I think if you do have access to the Create mod, it is a good idea to build a Create based super smelter. Maybe not every base needs a Minecraft one, but if that's the style that you're going for, then that's the style that you're going for. You can make Create based super smelters look quite similar. That is another benefit of they're easily stylized, but it totally depends on the vibe of your base. And there is nothing wrong with the Minecraft super smelter if you're playing vanilla. It's a really good contraption to use, and I have built one in pretty much every base that I can think of. So I'll never complain about having one of these in my base. Now, if you've ever had to do villager trading to get your enchantments in any sort of survival world, you know that regardless of whether you're using vanilla or Create, you're going to need a lot of pumpkins and melons, and that's where this contraption comes in. So you can see behind me, I have a really simple melon farm, which operates using observers waiting for the stalks to grow, and they're collected using a minecart hopper just in a double chest down here. Over here we have the Create version, which is another really simple version using drills on a minecart contraption and portable storage interfaces to fill up a double chest. So this will move along down the line and break up all the melons. And then once it gets to the end, it will deposit all of the melons into the chest and then head back and continue on its journey. I think if you can industrialize it properly and make a big enough one, the Create one could actually be more efficient. The problem with the vanilla one is it's It's very simple to expand. It's very modular. You can build this infinitely large, but that is the problem with it. It's infinitely large. It's a big farm to build, whereas you can get the same returns on a smaller farm using the create method because it's all done through a contraption and you don't need the big box around it. And in the spirit of farms, next we can look at a crop farm. So every base needs some sort of crop farm, whether you're using it for villager trading or you're using it for food, or if you're just using it for world building. Crop farms are always going to be useful to you in some sort of way. And we have two really basic crop farms over here, one flat piece of land with the create contraption and one staggered piece of land for the redstone contraption. So the redstone contraption uses a very old technique of dropping trapdoors and releasing water to flood out all of the wheat. You can see that if I pull this lever here now, we get a flood of water coming down the staggered effect, dropping all of our items into hoppers, which will funnel into this chest here. So this will gather up everything that we need to, and as long as we have some walls or fences or something around the edge, we shouldn't get too many stray items. But it's a very efficient way to collect things, and it works out quite well. The biggest issue that I have with this farm is what happens when we close off the water. Well, you can see that all the water disappears, but now we need to manually go through, get some seeds out of the chest, and then manually replant all of the wheat. And while that doesn't seem like a big task initially, if you have a really, really big version of this farm in your world, this is going to take you a long, long time, and it's very inefficient. It takes a while, and it's barely more automatic than just doing it yourself. And that is where the create mod comes in. So the create mod has these contraptions called mechanical harvesters, and what mechanical harvesters do, if I just turn this on, you can see we have a nice big field of wheat and a little contraption on a gantry shaft. So if I turn this on, you'll see that it goes along the field, just minding its own business, collecting up all the wheat in the barrels attached to it, and it will deposit them all onto the storage system. However, it does replace the seeds as it goes over. So there's very little time that you will spend actually replanting all of your seeds. It's more likely that it's just going to do it all for you. There might be a couple of stray blocks that it doesn't get, but fixing that is a lot quicker than fixing an entire field. So I think for farming, the create mod adds a lot of really cool features and a lot of really cool contraptions that work really, really well for how this mod operates. And it pairs well with mods like Farmer's Delight and Let's Do Vinery and all of those kind of mods that focus in around agriculture. It makes it super, super convenient and super easy. And you can create some really cool automated builds out of the create mod. With automation in mind, everybody is going to have a base that is going to be at least a couple of levels tall. It's very rare that you're going to build a single level base unless you're living in a cave. And even then you need to expand sometimes and maybe go up or down. So how are you going to get between the floors? There has to be an automated way to do that without using a staircase. And that is where elevators come in. So you can see right here, we have the basic Minecraft Redstone elevator, which is a water vator. So if I hop in here, we have soul sand on the bottom. So I shoot all the way up to the top and I can get out. But if I hit this note block here and give it a second, while I'm in the water, the block at the bottom will switch to magma and I can pull myself back down. So this is a really, really simple form of automation, just using observer lines and a little block swapper underneath. It's really simple, it's really quick to build, and it's not that bad at all. So how does the create mod make any changes to something that's already pretty good and really not that difficult or space consuming to build? Well, the changes it makes is with a block called the elevator pulley. So the elevator pulley and redstone contacts on the back let you create a functioning elevator in any style that you like. I really like this sort of industrial mineshaft style, but with some train controls in here, we can control which floor we go to. So if I want to go to floor 1, I can get out on floor 1. If I want to go to floor 2, it will take me further up to floor 2. And if I want to go all the way back down to the bottom, it will send me all the way past floor 1 down to the redstone contact on the bottom. All this build needs is a little bit of rotational power to dictate the speed, and an elevator pulley, which are really simple to use. Once you've positioned it over your glued together build, you just right click it and it creates an elevator for you. So it's really not that bad, and I think it adds a lot of really cool design elements to your build that you can change. You can make this look like anything. You could have a really, really corporate feeling office style elevator, or you could have a really janky sort of pulley style elevator. It's all within your imagination, and it all works how you make it work. I think the create elevators are really cool, and they're so underrated. You can turn these into contraptions for transporting items. You can turn them into contraptions for transporting villagers. There are so many different methods that you can use with the create elevator. They're just so cool. And even if you don't have multiple levels of your base to traverse, you might have something like an iron farm, which needs to be built a little bit under the ground to harvest the iron golems effectively. So you can see that I've built a sort of above ground version of an iron farm here, and it is quite low. So you could use an elevator to go down and check on how much iron you get. But the reason we are looking at an iron farm is because there are so many different ways you can make iron farms in the create mod. And overall, it's just a really, really simple process. And while a Minecraft iron farm isn't that difficult to build, if I change the time to nighttime, you can see we start getting iron golems, which are going to fall down and be killed by the lava. It's a very, very typical design, but it requires 12 villagers, 4 zombies, boats, spawn proofing of the land above it, a lot of water and lava. It takes up so much space, and it really is just not the most efficient way to handle iron creation in Minecraft. Leaving it and going away, pottering, doing other stuff, all fine, but you can see that we have to rely on the iron golem spawning AI, and then we have to rely on how many ingots it's going to drop us, how long it takes to kill, and if you need a lot of iron really quickly, it's not the most efficient way to get it. And that's where the create mod comes in. A much more efficient, much smaller and more compact method of generating iron. With this setup, it is a little bit more simple. It's using some filters to determine where flint is going to go, and you mainly collect iron nuggets. But apart from that, it's not that bad at all. So if I just grab a motor, you can see that we have a cobblestone generator set up just here, and we can set that up to go as quickly as we want. We also have some crushing wheels to crush it down into gravel, and when it reaches the gravel stage, only flint or iron nuggets will go through the tunnels, and they will be distributed into their chests. So you can see we have flint coming out over here, and iron nuggets coming out over here. It's a little bit more efficient. If you make it a lot bigger, it becomes a lot more efficient, and it's a lot easier to collect loads and loads of iron from it. You can make quite a few of these, and it requires a little bit of rotational power. Obviously, the bigger you make it, the more rotational power it's going to need. But overall, it's a lot less clunky than that design, and it relies a lot less on RNG. And what's the first thing you want to do once you have all of your iron and you are fully kitted out? You want to look for diamonds. And the best way to look for diamonds is to go down to diamond level on your version of Minecraft and just tunnel. Now, is it better to tunnel using Minecraft or using create mod? For this, I've taken the two designs and put them in a test tunnel that we can have a look at and see which one is going to run better or collect more diamonds or just be overall more efficient. So let's head on over to that world and see what we can find out. So now that we are in the cave with the two different types of tunnel bore, you can see we have the Minecraft one set up over there and the create one set up just here. So this test is going to be based on which one could be more efficient. So you can see that we have these set up in front of flat walls. There are some diamonds poking out around the place, so we know we're at the right level for what we're looking for. So which one is going to be more efficient at gathering up materials? So the first thing we are going to do is set off the create one just like this, and we're going to give it a little nudge. and it is going to send itself on a little mining journey through the wall. And then we are going to fly over to the other tunnel bore, the Minecraft one, and we're going to set this one off as well. And now that this one is running, you can see that we do need to keep hitting this note block every time we want to send it off. So there are definitely ways that you can do this automatically, but it doesn't happen just from building this one. There are probably models you can build that have everything for you, making it fully automatic. But you can see that even if we did have it fully automated, it's significantly slower than the other one. I mean, we've been doing this pretty much the same amount of time that we've had the other one going. We also need to manually pick up all the items, and it doesn't get everything. The size isn't that great. And if we just pop over to the tunnel, we can see we've made so much more progress. We've gathered up a lot more resources. We have 8 diamonds already, and we have revealed some other diamonds. And I know that the Minecraft tunnel bore can be infinitely expandable. You can attach this to multiple other tunnel bores, and you can get the efficiency that you want. For a survival world in vanilla Minecraft, this will be just fine. But the create one is definitely a little bit more efficient. It's definitely more along the lines of what you want, and it's less likely to break because it isn't using any TNT. And the last thing I wanted to look at in terms of comparing major contraptions in Redstone and create are flying machines. So flying machines are something that are widely used in things like crops and other contraptions like mob farms that you might use in normal Minecraft. They're usually consisting of a lot of pistons and slime blocks and observers and stuff, and they can get a little bit tedious to set up. We have a couple of examples of some Minecraft flying machines here. We have the basic shell of a flying machine, so this can be expanded out the sides, and this is what you would typically see in a bamboo or a sugarcane farm or something along those lines. And if we set this off, we see that it's going to fly over to the end and stop, and then we can set it off and fly it back to the beginning. You can also add a little bit at the front so that you can sit in it. And if I just sit down and hit the button, I'll fly all the way to the end and stop, and then I can send myself all the way back and stop. So they're very basic, they're very simple, they work really well, and they are quite cool to look at. There's something about the mechanicalness of Redstone that just looks quite cool in simple little contraptions like this. I mean, making a flying machine that's essentially a 2x2, incredible. Incredible work from just the Redstone. I never would have been able to come up with this on my own. So the fact that other people can blows my mind. Redstone is such a wild system that people use and create these amazing contraptions in. But thankfully, I have something a little bit easier. So for someone like me with a little bit less creativity, I have something like the create mod. So you can see here we are using just trains that are perched on phantom tracks. So phantom tracks are railways that you can use to create trains that disappear when you're not holding the item. And we have a basic flying machine here that you can put any sort of conductor on, and it will just go until the end of its track, and then the conductor can turn around and send it all the way back to the other track. You can also have one with a seat on the front that will let you sit in it while you're controlling it, and you can control it both ways. So the benefit of one of these is they don't have to stop just when they hit an immovable object or the end of a track. They can stop wherever you want to stop, or other train stations. You can schedule them, and you can have conductors like animals or little andesite robot dudes control everything for you. It's really, really cool. And they make your world feel so alive when you can fill them with a conductor and make them sort of go back and forth on their own. It's really cool. There are 2 final use cases that I wanted to go over with flying machines that are unique to each different system. So we have one for the create mod that Redstone absolutely could not do, and one for Redstone that, as far as I'm aware, the create mod can't do. So we'll start with the Redstone one. So this redstone contraption, when you set it off, it will deploy TNT, duplicate the block of TNT, and it will just lay waste to anything in its path. It will clear you a trench of destruction that you can use to build anything. And if you set these up in a big line and set them off simultaneously, you can clear out a really, really big area almost instantly. And it can go backwards as well so that it can reset. Thankfully, the TNT doesn't set off when it goes backwards, only forwards, but you can send it back to reset, and you can have another machine set up on the other side to move it up or down. It takes a lot of wiring, it takes a lot of finessing, but it can be done. Now, what the create contraption can do that redstone can't do is that if we just sit in this contraption here and we grab our track, let's just have a look at what we can do with the create mod trains that redstone can't quite achieve. Oh, hey, look at that. We can manage to go all the way to the other side of the track, and we can implement loop-de-loops, turns, elevation changes, everything. It's just the flying machine capabilities in the create mod are so endless. You may not be able to create a trench of destruction, but everything else that you can do, there's so much that just, there's too much to include in a single video, because it is almost infinite the amount of possibilities you can have. The designs you can make with these trains as well, all just using the super glue feature. I think create mod has to take flying machines for this one. There's just something about them that does a little bit better than the redstone ones. And with all that being said, I hope you guys did enjoy this video. Let me know down in the comments which comparison you found the most interesting, or if there's any that came up from either one that you think you're going to use in your next survival world, whether it be a vanilla world or a create world. If there's anything that's come up that you think you might try out because you haven't gotten a chance to in other worlds, or because you're going to try out because you hadn't thought about doing something a particular way. I know that for me, I definitely want to try and include more double piston extenders or double length piston extensions through the create mod in some of my future builds. And I think I would also like to incorporate more crop farms, because I haven't really had a chance to do much farming in the create series. So that might be something I'll look into in the future. I think everything else I've given enough of a go in create. I think it's time that I hop on to normal Minecraft and give basic redstone a go again. It has been a while since I've used typical vanilla Minecraft redstone, so I would like to give it another go. It's been a while since I've had a vanilla Minecraft world, so it'll be very interesting for me to try out the flying machines and stuff that I've never really had a chance to build in survival. But other than that, I hope you guys did enjoy the video. I will see you guys in the next one. You guys have been awesome. Peace. I suppose one drawback to create is the good power is very, very loud.